you down.
Time to get let down by Priest. Ooh. I think we go with the Psychic Scream. Seems like a good place to start. Let's pick up some Death Rattle. Seems a good thing to do. Let's try and make it work. And hopefully we actually will get some Death Rattles. I think a third Dead Ring is probably a bit too much. You gonna offer me anything with Death Rattle at all? Anything at all? Apparently not. Oh well, here we go. Here we go. Second Mind Control. Yeah, why not? Why not? I think this is somewhat of a control deck. Second Coffin Crasher, perfect for my deck of Death Rattles. We just actually need to get a few other cards with Death Rattle. Wow, it's actually not going to offer me any cards with Death Rattle at all, I think. I think we're going to go the entire run without getting a worm. Anything? Any cards with Death Rattle in this deck? Anything with Death Rattle. Do they exist? Apparently not. So the deck's going to be double Coffin Crasher, and that's it. Anything with Death Rattle would be nice. I'd very much appreciate it. Oh, finally a Bone Drake. So we did pass up the Mass Hysteria, but it was for a Coffin Crasher. I mean, we always had a plan in mind. Get some Death Rattles going. And do some sick things with Coffin Crashers.
You face Mecha-Jiraxxus!
The light shall bring victory.
But first we have to draw them.
Nice to meet you.
Only a fool rejects the Lich King.
It's pretty good. That's not bad either.
What fools these hunters be!
I sense your struggle.
Foolish!
Well, I think we've got to start chipping away at the Warlock's life total.
I'm warning you. I'm unstable.
The sun has set for me.
I think even the Warlock realises this as well.
Foolish!
We can't have him just tapping all the time. So we've got our Psychic Scream here.
We hear your heart.
So we maybe don't want to commit too much to the board on turn 6 and just let him throw all of his guys out. Let's see if he realises. I quite like the idea of shuffling a few oozes into his deck as well.
To Northrend!
And the Omani Warbear's obviously a nice draw as well at this point. And we had the Charged Devil Saw really to take things out as well. But nothing with Death Rattle to go with the Coffin Crasher.
To Northrend!
Yep, annoying redraw.
A worthy fool.
And a complete lack of taunts here. And a great top deck from him as well. Personally, I would have gone 7 to the face there and just left this guy by himself. Don't really see much point in him killing it off. It just risks like another mass hysteria finishing him off. So we need a mind control. Ooh, right on cue. So all he needs is a big guy and me not to draw my second mind control.
You are not
Bubblies and yummies!
Yeah, this guy came a bit too late, unfortunately. Yeah, where was... I've got 2 Dead Ringers in my deck, and the first one was halfway through my deck. Would have appreciated them a lot earlier, but this is a problem with going second in this format. I win that quite easily going first. It's just all about going first. Going first you win, going second you lose.
Anduin versus Garrosh.
Victory or death!
The light shall bring
Got a
victory.
fantastic opening hand. Where was this against the Warlock? This is exactly what we want against Warlock going second. Wow, it just keeps getting better. Might even get him to play Warpath if he's got one against this start. Damn, he's on 19 already. Well, he's more likely to have Dragon Roar than Super Collider. You know, it's just one of those things. You know, it'd be great to think that you could play a Super Collider against him, but let's be honest, Dragon Roar's the card that turns up.
Ready to glow!
I guess we get some Death Rattles going then, yeah? Ooh, Pog. Beautiful Emeris. So we got a lot of Death Rattles here now.
We hear your heart. There!
Double corrosive sludge. No weapon will survive against me. So we got a lot of late game here. Everything we're drawing is very, very expensive. Mind control right when we need it as well. I mean, we're halfway through our deck and we've got 2 mind controls, so I'd expect to draw one of them. It appears our opponent's playing a very greedy, expensive deck as well.
What now?
Ready to glow!
Well, he won't be playing that unless he can kill my 7-1, right? Surely. So we definitely got to heal up here. 7 HP isn't enough. He can make 1 weapon and kill us. I think it's nice to try something a bit different with Priest, you know. It's a shame we didn't pick up as many Death Rattles as we did. I mean, we got 2 very, very early Dead Ringers, and then we went 20 cards without picking up a single card with Death Rattle. So what are you going to do?
What now?
Well, we know he doesn't have a Super Collider.
What? I must choose.
So again, healing is the most important thing there. The fact that he goes face is trying to suggest to me he's got a weapon of some kind to maybe finish it off. Or charge minion.
What now?
Still hitting him for 8.
Well played.
Played.
Ooh, I got a... Of course, I had my quest to play 3 dragons. I forgot about that. 80 gold and 80 dust. So I think this deck, more than a lot of decks, does benefit enormously from going first.
Anduin versus Jaina.
You asked for it.
The light shall bring victory.
I think we keep the Glacial Shard here. Because it kind of will make your opponent ping it turn 2. So it gives you a lot of tempo. It gets you to play your Pixie without your opponent having anything. Which means you get to attack with your Pixie and heal it up potentially. So yeah, it's kind of like a suicidal little guy, but On the play, I think he does quite a bit going first. And this cloning device can get me something pretty handy out of our opponent's deck. I mean, usually one of the 3 minions your opponent's got is going to actually do something. So there you go. If he's going to waste his... He should make a 2-3 there, really, rather than just pinging that. Wow. I guess we take the turn 4 play. We've got a Pixie turn 3, Imposter turn 4, Valkyr turn 5. You play Raven in the same deck as Breath of Syndragosa. Not sure about that.
I will purify the fallen. Foolish!
I want my Valkyr to trade with this guy.
Die as you lived.
I mean, that's got to be pretty sick, right? I mean, it's got to be a Vaporize. That's what you got to expect, but you have to go for that. Like, because if he does have an Antonidas, we're in a lot of pain. But I don't think Vaporize helps us win.
What to do? What to do?
So this might be like a Scorcher and heal up play on the following turn.
I wonder.
I mean, he's obviously going to attack my 5/3 to kill it.
Science overwhelming.
Let's crash this party!
He probably doesn't want to attack that, fearing something like a worm popping out. And this might make him go wide as well, as opposed to tall. Okay, he just doesn't care. He's like, whatever. So if I play the Basilisk there, it just trades with his Raven and a ping. Which I don't think is a great use of a Basilisk.
I wonder.
Great show today, folks. It's all right. In
the best shape of my life.
Well, that is attempting mind control.
I wonder.
Foolish!
So we're dead to a pyro next turn. We do actually have to get round to starting beating him up at some point, unfortunately. I'd have just gone face if I was him there. Just hit me for 9, put me to 7, and try and finish me off with a few more minions. I guess he doesn't have the other minions, though.
Time runs out on me.
Someday I'll be just like you! We hear your heart. There!
So it's not a bad place to be in with Charged Devilsaur Mind Control in hand. It's a lot better now than it was last turn. I think he maybe misplayed not going to my face and just playing more minions. Well, we know that's a Vaporize. Well, he really wants Untargetable, but Untargetable doesn't help him because my guy's a 7/7. And again, we know that's Vaporize, so I'm just going to wait until I've got my Cult Master on the board, so at least I can draw a card here.
Look how it burns!
So he may have drawn his Flame Strike, which is why he did what he did. So this kind of forces him to Flame Strike because he doesn't want my snail running into his guy. Ooh, nice draw. I mean, I prefer this to trade with something he's got here. He's probably thinking, he's sniping me! How did he know it was Vaporize?
You win.
Why is he not playing into my Vaporize with his 7/7? This is not fair. Because I saw your 7/7.
Anduin versus Uther.
So it's not a great deck, but it's a fun deck, I think.
Shall bring victory.
Yeah, I enjoy playing it. It's nice to try something different and not something really overpowered right now. I think Mage is the best class in Arena. Oh, well, obviously, you know, Warlock is the sickest class, but, you know, Mage has, like, all the tools, I think, right now.
Reporting for duty.
Double Scorcher might be useful against this guy.
Don't blink. You might miss.
Ooh. That's a very nice card to have picked up here. Double Coffin Crasher's nice as well. We may be coining a Coffin Crasher out.
Let's crash this party.
I really wish I'd picked up a Violet Worm.
The rules. Reporting for duty. Let's crash this party. Happy New Year, champion.
I've no idea why he traded with that. I've no idea what he was thinking. It really made no sense for him to do that. So I'm going to freeze the 3/2 to force his 4/2 to trade into my 6/2, and so also my 2/1 can trade with his 3/2 as well.
Reporting for duty.
I'd love another minion with Death Rattle here for this Twilight's Call. That would be the value right now. Well, I guess this works. I'll just take one of his minions with Death Rattle.
I sense your strength.
I'm gonna mind control that 7-3. It shall be mine.
It's my turn! Trash!
The grim buys you no rest.
Mushroom power! Reporting for duty.
Well, well. That's interesting.
What to? The gates are open. Reporting for duty.
We hear your heart. Or die!
Spellbreaker's a very good draw as well. Paladin's got a lot of buffs.
Death again!
Reporting for duty.
Still that awkward position where the mind control... Ooh. I was going to say the mind control still leads to us trading.
The gates are open.
We have to take a couple of risks there. And I mean, I'm assuming because he's took one redemption, it's going to be a second redemption. Now, the question is, Spellbreaker or Mind Control on it? Spellbreaker makes the most sense, really. Because we can save the Mind Control for something we can't deal with.
Your magic shall not save you.
By the holy light! Reporting for duty.
Speak your peace.
Well, we've seen most of his deck. We know there's a Peacekeeper in it. So we'll take the Peacekeeper.
Die, mage.
He now has to run all of his guys into my 6/5, and I will gain 18 life in the process.
Reporting for duty.
And now he's regretting having done that immediately. And back to 30 we go.
Follow the rules.
Mind control just sat in my hand doing nothing, waiting for him to play something huge. And I think he realises it's mind control as well. He's like, it's got to be mind control, the fact that that card sat in his hand for 8 turns. Ouch. He did not want to play that card right there.
Reporting for duty.
That was painful for him.
The victory is yours.
So I love silence. You can just see how it allowed me to keep hold of my mind control. It just ruined his day completely. And the lifesteal also first class. Not sure how many wins we'll get with this deck. It's a little bit too much on the greedy side. I think if we come up against some proper aggro warlocks, we might get smashed in the face too quickly.
Anduin versus Anduin.
The light shall bring victory. Light smiles upon the just.
A little bit of me's tempted to keep the silence. I think the silence can be very important in this match. Unfortunately, we haven't drawn any of our 3 drops yet. So he probably takes Mass Hysteria here. I know I probably would as well. He might also take Shadow Madness, if he's got a Shadow Madness.
I'm like everyone's biggest fan.
So we're expecting big cards really from him from this point onwards. Don't have any death rattles to go with this Coffin Crasher. So all we can do is just make things that are bigger than the things he makes. Mass Hysteria? No? Okay.
Nice to meet you.
So we just want to get to the late game where we can mind control his stuff. That's the best time for Psychic Scream because it only gets worse. You know, these games generally gotten really long, so you don't actually want to shuffle too many cards back into his deck because you're going to fatigue.
Let's crash this party!
So he gets my Dead Ringer off a Thought Steal, but I can't get a Dead Ringer off my first 15 cards, despite having 2 Dead Ringers, but he can get it off taking 2 cards out of my deck. Fantastic. Still yet to draw a Death Rattle. But again, he, off my Thought Steal, gets 2 Death Rattle cards. Like, this is crazy. He goes Thought Steal, take 2 Death Rattle cards off my deck. I go draw 15 cards, get no Death Rattle cards to go with this Coffin Crasher. This RNG is just world class. And now I immediately after my Coffin Crasher resolves twice, I draw both my Dead Ringers. Like, this game is so stupid. Thanks for the follow, Baby Bear. Hope you stick around for a while. Potion of Madness, no. Potion of Madness no longer floating about in Arena. That has definitely passed us by.
When Earth moves, empires fall. Warning, I'm unstable.
Does it get any worse than that as dragons go?
I must consider.
Don't particularly want any of these cards. I guess we take the Giant Wasp because it's got a chance of trading with something big on the other side of the board. This creates a 50-50, so one of these two should hopefully survive. I'm interested what he took as his spell. Don't think I've seen the spell get played yet. I'm thinking
I must consider
mass hysteria, but it could be a mind control.
Let me change your mind.
Oh, this is fantastic for me. Lol. Guess I'll take your guy back. Oh dear, yoink. Mine again.
What are you hiding?
Obey.
Crash this party.
More coffin crashers. And bone drakes for everyone as well. Bone drakes for everyone. I'm just working out the mass hysteria then. If these two fight, that's the worst case. So it's a 50-50. If he did take a mass hysteria.
Obey.
No need for me to play anything more than that out. He's got a Deathwing or something, or Mass Hysteria, or Psychic Scream. Not enough. I guess we'll never find out. I'm sure he played the spell, right? I mean, I just didn't pay enough attention to see what the spell was there. So if anyone knows what spell he actually picked up, turn 2 or whenever it was.
Anduin versus.
Somehow I'm 4-1 with this deck.
Watch.
Oh, this is bad for us.
Shall bring victory.
I think we lose the Glacial Shard here because we really want to draw a Coffin Crasher. And we want to get it off. Off our dead ringers. Like, because we're going second, so we need to kind of turn over the tempo constantly. We need to be... When we play a Coffin Crasher, he goes walk the plank. We get something else. So I think it's just one of those games where it's important to draw our combo against him. Very hard for us to beat Rogue going second. That's a good turn 3 play anyway. And this makes him refresh his weapon as well, which is good for us.
Look! You shinies!
think it would be a bit greedy to play Elixir there on the 1-2. I mean, we can turn this into a 5-6, which is, I think, much better. 5-6 and then heal it for 2 as well. So he's playing a weapon next turn, so it's probably the... it could be the 3-4, I guess. Heal up. I think so. Takes it out of a lot of his weapon range. Takes it out of Eviscerate. And it's damaged as well, so it can't get walk the plank. Well, guess we're playing a Corrosive Sludge.
X marks the spot.
That is fine. Don't think we have anything in our Death Rattle pool yet, which is a little bit depressing.
We hear your heart.
So let's see if he's got an Amani Warbear.
Neither snow, nor rain, nor witch.
Apparently not. So we're doing well. We're holding our own, which is nice. Oh, he does have one. He just decided to wait a little bit before playing it. That's not a bad draw, actually. That is not a bad draw at all.
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Gives us something to play with Twilight's Call, if nothing else.
Yeah, it'll grow back.
I will purify the fallen.
So it's all about value now. Can we draw some of our valuable cards? Do I still play poker? No, I haven't played poker for a few years. I've had a full-time job last 4 years, but I'm still involved in the poker industry. Just
A fight? Let me see.
So I'm not going to play the Pixie because he can hit it with his hero ability and then attack with his guy to create a copy. I think the mind control for tempo might be what we have to do. So I'm going to leave the sludge in my hand just for another turn here. And what a good decision that was. What a fantastic decision that was.
Big, sharp, pointy teeth!
So he has to trade here. I'm on 30 life to his 15. Like, what's he going to do exactly? Like, you can't be going to my face where I can just heal up.
So many options.
But yeah, I made a lot of money playing poker, which is why I can afford to stream on Twitch nowadays. Kind of retired from poker after 15 years of playing it professionally.
Big, sharp, pointy teeth!
So he's got to decide whether he wants to do 2 points of damage to my face.
I give up.
Because he knows the Worgen's coming down the following turn to kill his 2-2 off. I'll take it. I mean, we kind of just outvalued him there. He didn't put enough pressure on us. I really thought we'd struggle with that game. But he just didn't beat us up like maybe he'd hoped to. You know, he had a lot of fast early guys that he just didn't really draw in his opening turns.
The light shall bring victory.
So again, I have 2 dead ringers. I'd like to see one of them on turn 2 at some point against some opponent. I'm not going to play the shard turn 1. Because if he coins out a 2-3, my shard just dies.
Nice to meet you.
This stops him from playing a 3-2 on turn 2. Yep, forcing him to coin into a 3-4, something like that.
What fools these mortals!
No, he gets lucky with his axe. Giving him a huge tempo swing. Hopefully we get an axe off him. But we've got a lot of great cards here. Turn 5, turn 6, turn 7. I don't know why he's not just trading his 1-1 with my guy there. That would have been so much better for him. Like, him keeping his weapon in hand, it was so much more important than just having a 1-1 on the board.
We hear your heart.
Not really what we want to see right now.
I love omelets.
If only we had cards to deal 1 damage to everything. Like if I actually had one of my 2 Scorchers there, then we're in a tremendous shape. It's like we had 2 Scorchers. So, Mass Hysteria, 2 Scorcher. Yeah, we've drawn really badly in this game. Like, ridiculously badly.
We hear your heart.
Again, like, 2 Death Rattles. Like, we could have had either Dead Ringer to get us to the good stuff. Double Scorcher that doesn't turn up. Psychic Scream doesn't turn up. Let's take a look at these cards. Yeah, so 2 Dead Ringer. Gastropod would have been nice. Phoenix would have been nice to deal with these 4-1s. 2 Scorches, as I said. Sightless Ranger. So we basically, we got about 10 cards there where we just completely failed to draw against him. And the Psychic Scream on turn 7. So, really bad RNG there. To just be completely incapable of doing a single point of damage with all those cards in our deck, which do a point of damage.
Anduin, for versus Jaina.
So that's just one of those losses where you go, there's nothing I can do. The game's decided I'm going to lose this game from the very first card I draw. Like, I have 2 Dead Ringers in my deck, and I just never draw them. What do you have to do to draw a Dead Ringer in your opening hand? It's like mulligan entire hands away constantly every game. 7 rounds now, no turn 2 Dead Ringer.
Come, my pretty birds.
Like, I just want a Dead Ringer so I actually have something to do with the Coffin Crasher.
Why do you call?
Your magic shall not save you.
Tempo Spellbreaker, that's super weak.
A stranger will offer you aid.
Interesting 2-drop.
Nice to meet you.
I mean, luckily he's not going to nuke us down because
Purify the fallen.
we have Elixir of Life. So if he starts trying to go face, we're going to be able to get back into that game. Especially with the Coffin Crasher, because it may come to the point where he doesn't want to kill the Coffin Crasher in case something comes out of it. And then we can just Elixir of Life and force him where he does have to kill the Coffin Crasher.
Let's crash this party.
What to do? What to do?
And there's all his tempo gone, just like that. He's like, oh, I can't go face anymore. Now we can hopefully get the Bone Dragon to die, and Twilight's Call and do it all again. Even Flame Strike doesn't really bother us too much here.
Shields up.
But you're not nuking us down. You're the one getting nuked down.
Put this apple on your head.
Okay, kill your own guys, keep my guys alive. You play very well, you play very, very well. You didn't quite think this one through, did you? Going to my face while this has got healing abilities. So he basically retired entirely on RNG to get him back into that game there. It was a really bad turn, wasn't it, Chris?
I wonder.
I have a lifesteal minion with 8 power on the board, and he's going to my face. Eh? Some games you don't win by being good. Some games you just win by your opponents being really bad at the game. Ooh! A card I'm not going to be playing. So this will trigger first, giving me a minion into my hand. And maybe if it's got Death Rattle, it'll then get summoned by Coffin Crasher. So we're hoping Bone Drake gives us Bone Drake. Recursive Bones.
Join or die, or both.
Crash! Crash this party!
What fools these mortals be!
It's got to be an incredible card to save him.
Shot, one kill.
Well, this is nice. I am moderately surprised by 6 and 2 with this deck. It's been behaving. But again, he made some really tragic misplays. So again, it was another game we didn't win by doing anything particularly special. It was just a game our opponent chose to lose.
Victory or death!
The light shall bring victory.
Can we get a card with Death Rattle? Yes, finally a Headringer opening hand with Coffin Crasher. Oh, took us 8 rounds, but we've got there. So this Dead Ringer will get us another Dead Ringer. That'll get us a Bone Drake.
Nice to meet you.
Ooh. Ooh. That might add it to the Death Rattle pool as well, giving a minion Death Rattle for when I resurrect stuff up. It also gives me something to do turn 3.
sense your struggle.
Oh well, there's the Bone Drake. We have all the pieces. So we got another Coffin Crasher in the deck. Now, if this gets me a Dead Ringer from my deck, then I get to play double Dead Ringer on turn 4 and run everything into his Dragon Maw Scorcher on turn 5. But I definitely want to coin out this Coffin Crasher against him. Well, I have a lot of 6-drops.
Chill out.
So it's a terrible turn this turn, but the tempo we get from the following turn with the potential Coffin Crasher into Bone Drake, potentially, is going to more than make up for it.
What now?
Of course, Coffin Crasher into Dead Ringer, not so good.
Ride the polar bear express. Let's crash this party.
Chill out.
I still think the tempo's too good not to do this. There's only one sad little Dead Ringer that can ruin the party here. If we get another Coffin Crasher or a Bone Drake, then we're living the dream.
Dark One snuffs all.
Cleaning condenses.
So we either get a Coffin Crasher or a Bone Drake. Oh dear! Do I still have the tempo, sir? He doesn't like that. He's not happy with that at all. So obviously, if he's got a Super Collider, that's why we're doing that. Even a 4-point Warpath doesn't clear the board. Then we get to play Temple Enforcer and heal up the 6-1. Well, we get another dragon out of this.
For the crusade!
I think it's important to save our Scorchers there. We've got Dustbreaker as well. So let's just pop the bubble. He did do a Dragon Roar, so I've got my Mind Control ready in a couple of turns. But I need to have some board if he does something ridiculous like Ysera.
What now?
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
The frost wolf stands ready.
That is a great draw.
Meddlesome insect.
What fools these mortals be!
3-drop was perfect there, getting to heal this guy up. And he has to have Warpath there. If he doesn't have Warpath, it's just game over.
We hear your heart.
Well, was hoping for a Bone Drake. We'll see. We'll see. Depends how well we do in Arena, doesn't it, whether we get time. I'll be drafting later tonight as well. I'll be taking a break for dinner and coming back playing some more. Okay, it's a bad dragon. Ooh, oh lucky. Nothing left in my deck, unfortunately. I mean, that would have been a fantastic combo if there was. Like, pull a Death Rattle minion out of my deck, and then put it into play off the 1/1 Coffin Crasher. That would have been ridiculous.
Yeah, it'll grow back.
My eyes are open.
So I'm only playing that because he might have a Deathwing. If I didn't have that second mind control, I wouldn't have bothered mind controlling the first one.
Sting like a bee.
Yoink! Big ol' yoink. Ooh, 35 spells this run. Magical indeed. Somehow we've made it to 7 wins with this priest deck. I thought it was a bit too greedy, but it turns out we've had some greedy opponents as well, which has really helped. And my greed's the good greed, right? With 2 mind controls. Yeah, I mean, the core of this deck was that I got a couple of Dead Ringers very early in the picks, and I was just like, okay, let's get me some Death Rattles. Then 20 cards went back. No Death Rattles, but then we ended up with a couple of Coffin Crashers and a Bone Drake. Would have appreciated a few more Death Rattles, really. But, you know, 7 wins is what you want. You're happy with 7 wins. Then it all comes down to, do we get to go first? Because when you're against people at 7 wins, they've got a good deck. They know what they're doing. You really don't want to be going second against them.
I will fight with honor.
The light shall bring victory.
And we've got a Dead Ringer. And a Coffin Crasher. Beautiful. My deck's deciding to help me out here a little bit. So ideally we want Dead Ringer into Dead Ringer. And thing is, if we play the Dead Ringer... Oh, I was going to say he makes a 1-1 on turn 2, but he can just do that instead. No, why couldn't it have been another Dead Ringer? I mean, come on. Dead Ringer into Dead Ringer is what we wanted. But we've got the Scorcher on turn 5 after the Phoenix to kill the 1-2. So it's not all bad here. He might even make a secret like Auto Defense Matrix here, which would normally be pretty good.
The dark path is my destiny.
Oh, he's really walking into this Scorcher because he's going to run his 2-4 into my 3-3. And then we're just going to lay waste to everything. Yeah, he could have a Dark Iron Dwarf as well. That would help him out there. But I imagine the 2-4 running into my 3-3.
I wonder.
Like when you're against aggro players, having a Scorcher in your hand just helps you out. There it is, there's old Dark Iron Dwarf. Right on cue. He just has the kind of deck that's going to play Dark Iron Dwarfs.
I sense your struggle.
Let's crash this party.
But if he keeps trading, then that's really helps us out here with Coffin Crasher into Coffin Crasher. Really, he goes face at this point, though, if he's smart in any way. We can always run our 6-5 into his 4-3 and then Scorcher to kill it off if we're desperate to get the other Coffin Crasher into play. Obviously, we've also got Omani Warbear. We've got a lot of nice cards going on. He's really having one of those existential crisis moments where he's thinking, but he's got a minion and it needs to die, but it's a coffin crasher.
Reporting for duty.
But you can just see how it turns the tempo round. I mean, his hand's pretty ridiculous. Look how he plays these after I play double Scorcher. I mean, how is it ever anything but sound the bells there? So we just want a really wide board against what he's got.
I hear you got a problem.
I will purify the fallen.
So I have two cards in my deck that kill weapons. Can we draw them? We were obviously playing Warbear next turn and possibly Healing Face.
I wonder.
But can we get a sludge?
Reporting for duty.
We can get a sludge. How lucky! So I think we have to clear the board here. And I want the random dragon as well, because it could be an Alexstrasza. Like, if we leave him with a minion, it just gives him stuff like Blessing of Kings to kill us with. So healing up to 6 is not as good there.
Reporting for duty.
for duty.
Obviously, we're going to buff up the taunt.
The victory is yours.
Okay. Yep, so the corrosive sludge did the job there, but there's two of them. We should be drawing one after half of our deck. But you could just see he really hated having to kill my Coffin Crasher. He did not want to do that at all. But you can see when the whole deck works together, it's pretty cool.
Anduin versus Gul'dan.
Your soul shall be mine!
The light shall bring victory.
You know what? It is tempting to keep that elixir. We can work with this. This is our first warlock we played against. Ooh.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Let's see if he coins out a 2-3. But that's good, because that means a Mortal Coil not going on our Stone Skin Basilisk.
Put this apple on your head.
Oh, really? You're gonna do this to me, are you? I mean, we still have to play it for the tempo. Gonna make a 2-4 skeleton? Yes, of course you are. Miss! 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 No such luck. I really was thinking hard about just skipping my turn 3. I was like, we can just see what's going to happen. But he still has to have answers every turn. Obviously, if he's got a fungal, he should have played it by now.
Out of my jungle!
Tap last. Maybe he's got a Defile, which is why he did that, or his own Scorcher. Or a Hellfire, that's also possible.
Who dares summon me?
Really lost a couple of good cards there. Dread Infernal, Tainted Zealot.
I will purify the fallen.
Warbear?
Join or die, or both.
Not sure I agree with him there. Not sure I agree with his trades at all. Ooh. A coffin crasher with nothing to show for it.
Die as you lived.
So he's down to 13 cards, but we got a fair amount of card advantage still in our deck as well. Real chance he risks decking himself at this time. Okay, so we obviously know what that card is. It's always Demon Bolt. Like, it's never, ever anything but Demon Bolt there.
Die as you lived.
Possibilities.
I will purify the fallen.
I wonder.
Definitely important to get that Demon Bolt out of his hand there. So there's not much difference between, you know, like 12 and 14 life there. So we just have to make a big guy and hope we actually get something. Demon Bolt would be nice. Well, this is the only card that saves us, right? Lord Godfrey.
have bested.
So, we had to hope it's a Lord Godfrey there. But 8 wins seems pretty good with this deck.